You are literally going to jeopardize your ability to get it. And what do I mean by that? Many people, and you'll be surprised, there are people who do jeopardize their ability to get funding. And the reason why they will jeopardize is because they don't believe that it is possible. Can you believe that? Yes, they don't believe it is possible. And what do I mean by that? Lorelia, how is it that you are able to help people leverage 6 figures in funding when there are people who are trying to get 20,000? Lorelia, the business credit gurus on the internet are only able to help people get 20 to 25. What is it that you're doing to be able to help people get 6 figures? Are you doing something illegal? And my answer to that is no. Nothing that I share, no strategies, no methods are illegal. These are legal strategies that have been there since the beginning of time. I don't claim to be the person who made it up. I'm just the messenger to let you know that it exists. Because what a lot of people do not know is that the same people who are teaching you, who are sharing with you the possibility of leveraging business credit to build, to invest in real estate, are not telling you the real story. So what is happening is that you're having people out there who are shooting at the wrong target. And those who are teaching you that, they won't tell you that you are shooting at the wrong target, because it's either one or two things. Either they have not did it, they don't really know how to do it themselves, or if they have did it, they don't know how to tell you. They did it for themselves, but they haven't told you. Because let's call a spade a spade. We live in a time and place now where a person can literally binge on the content that's on the internet, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, and go in, spend a lot of time, and then want to regurgitate what they've heard and know that they never have to give results to the end user. So what happens to you, the end user, when you come across someone like myself who's sharing with you real results, giving you real strategy, and you are also dealing with a low money thermostat, you start to question. You don't think it is possible. You're wondering, is someone running game? You need someone to prove to you it can happen. And so that is why I always tell people what I said in the beginning. Who are the best candidates to be able to get the results of what I'm going to share with you tonight when I go over the real estate investor case study? The best candidates are not the ones where you're going to be thinking, oh, they must have an 850 credit score. They must have already, invested in real estate. They have, high trade lines. They have someone co-signing for them. No, it's none of those things. is that some people, even a person can have a high money thermostat and don't have access to the credit. And a person may say, well, Lorraine, that's oxymoronic. If they have, it's no way they can have a high money thermostat and not get access to the credit. Let me explain to you why that is possible. It's because a person knows that if they've given the right information, they have someone who can hold their hand, give them the blueprint. They know that if they just do the work, because I tell people, I'm not the person you need to come to if you thinking you're going to just sit back, fold your arms, and say, Lorelia, tell me when the money is going to be wired into my account. I'm not your person. I'm that person who's going to sit with you, who's going to give you a game plan, who's going to share strategies on how we can get you to have a business funding entity that can have 6 figures in funding within the entity, whether it's an LLC, S Corp, whatever corporation, because I'm not an attorney, don't play one on TV. So I don't give business structure advice. But I feel like with real estate, it should be an LLC. So I'm the person who's going to help you fund that LLC with 6 figures or more in funding. And then from there, we're going to invest in, and we're going to assist you with invest in real estate. But what I don't do is that I'm not going to go do the work for you. And then you sit back and say, let me know when the funding is there, which is why I tell people, I'm not a business funding broker. You don't fill out no application with me and I see what you get approved for. That's not what I do. I have relationships with sources where you can get the funding. And I know what it is that those sources are looking for to get you to the bag legally. No funny stuff. Legally. And so I go to bed knowing that what I share with people is not a one-trick thing. It is something that you can rinse and repeat, because anybody with decent credit, 680, everybody talk about 680 credit score. I have the results. If you go on my YouTube channel, I was talking about the power of the 680 credit score 4 years ago. Now everyone is talking about it. But going back to what I was saying, with the power of the 680 credit score, even with that, someone can, find a funding source or go to a bank and get access to funding. That's not what we do here. That's not what we do here. This is not let me help you get the magic credit card, because that's what most people are doing. So that's why not only am I streaming free on Zoom, I also have this streaming on other social media platforms. So that's not what I do. I do not help you get this one credit card, because there's people selling you the secret lenders list, or they know the credit cards where you can get a guaranteed approval as long as you have this, that, and the other. That's not what we do here. What I do is so much bigger, because I just want you to just think for yourself. Imagine where your business can be in the first quarter of 2022 if you can have a business entity that has 6 figures in funding ready to invest. Where could your business be? So going back to originally talking about the best candidates that I can help to get this funding has nothing to do with the external sources. Has nothing to do with that. Because that is the easy work. I wrote a best-selling book on personal credit. So helping people to increase their credit score, I can do that in my sleep. That's the easy work. Even if you didn't want to come to me, there's a ton of people giving game on the internet, you know. So some may be questionable, and they can help you increase your credit score. But if credit score was just it, which I know is not it, credit score is not just the one thing that you need. That is why so many people are missing the mark. You need more than just a great credit score. You need more than that. And that is what I share with people. So going back to the best candidates are those who understand that's the external stuff. The hard part is the internal stuff. What type of person do you have to be? Who do you have to show up as to be able to get the funding? Are you willing to allow someone to lead you to get the funding? Because everyone can't be led. Why? Because there's 1,000 other people online telling you there's a faster, there's a quicker, there's an easier way. And that, my friend, is why so many people are missing the mark and they're unable to get to the bag like they want. So now that I've shared that with you, I want to go into sharing with you the case study. Because like I said, I had to bring those things up because when you see when we go over the case study, you're going to wonder, you're going to have all those questions in your head. What does my credit need to look like? Do I have to have an 850 credit score? Do I have to have already invested in real estate? And my answer to all that is 680 credit score, a credit mix. I'm going to answer that because I know those are all the things that's going to be, people are going to wonder. So I'd rather address it now. At least a 680 credit score, a reasonable credit mix. And these are just foundation things, because these are the things that most people ask. It's not everything, but it's some of the things that people, they do ask. So I am just going to I'm going to answer. So sorry about that. I want to make sure I have, if any questions I miss. So 680 credit score. And these are just bare things. Real estate investors, this particular case study, over 680 credit score, never have invested in real estate. So person was new to real estate, no cosigner, and no funny duddy stuff that's going to put you in jail. So had to want to share that. So let me share my screen. Now, for those who join me in Zoom, will have the opportunity to ask any questions, because the whole point of this webinar is about deals, you know. So I am going to share this real estate investor case study deal. And if there are any deals that you are currently working on or want a game plan on how they can be funded, you know, let's answer them tonight. And I'm going to be taking those questions for those who have joined me on Zoom. I know I am streaming from a few social media platforms, but unfortunately, I cannot take questions from every platform. So give me a second. On that end. Okay. All righty. All right. The wrong button. Okay, so let's get to it. So this is a real estate investor case study, the one that I've been talking about tonight, the one in December. So this investor case study or unsecured business lines of credit to purchase 2 properties. So just to give you some background on unsecured, and I did videos on this before, unsecured funding is funding that is not secured against real estate. So I've said in other videos as well as webinars, there are funding sources that for the lender, it is less risk. And those are the 3 R's, real estate, revenue, receivables. If you are a business and you have real estate, revenue, and receivables, for the lender, it is the least riskiest type of lending to provide to the end user, the business owner, the consumer, what have you. Why? Is because the lender understands that by them being able to see that the person owns real estate, revenue, or there's something that can pay them back in the event that you default on the loan. Well, Lorelia, you said this particular case study, the person is not a real estate investor. I am correct. So they don't fall under the 3 R's, real estate, revenue, or receivables. They don't have those 3. So then how are you able to help them? Going back to the unsecured example that I gave, unsecured meaning it means that there is more risk to the lender. So there is that is why it takes work to be able to get this type of funding. Because if it's more risk for the lender, then how is it that the lender is willing to lend that amount of money if a person doesn't have the 3 R's? And that is why so many people who are seeking funding are missing the point, because they do not know the rules of engagement. They do not know that there are rules to this. There are things that have to be done to position you and your business to be the right candidate to be able to get this type of funding if you don't have the 3 R's. And that is why I tell people that the marketplace is bamboozling you to believe that all you need is net 30s, a Dun and Bradstreet, a paydex score. There is no lender out there who's going to lend to you. They're just not. So you will be all day trying to figure out on every free webinar, trying to crack the code. And I'm here to tell you, if you're trying to fund deals, or if you're trying to get your first deal and you want to leverage unsecured lines of credit, you have to be set up properly. So the info on the funding opportunity, as I mentioned, client purchased 2 homes. On this, I forgot to write the information on the other one. So tonight we'll only talk about this one. I'll do it again, possibly, and maybe in another week, and I'll talk about the other property. But for this particular property, purchase price was $28,000. So I get it. Some people may be saying, well, Lorelia, where are those numbers at? I get it. I'm in the Northeast. I'm here in the state of New Jersey. Numbers like that, in this, at least in this part of the state, they don't exist. They don't exist. Maybe if you go to the southern part of New Jersey, well, rest assured, there are parts of the country where these numbers do exist. And so that's why, being online allows me to work with anyone. So a person may say, well, Lorelia, if I'm up in the Northeast where you say, and or on the West Coast and those numbers, then how does funding help me? Well, there's still things that even if you're in the Northeast, you can still be able to put strategies together that will allow you to get business funding. So don't be dismayed by the numbers. Don't let the numbers have you to think, well, this can't be done because my market is much higher. No, it's all about strategy. Goes back to what I said, having the right business entity set up so you don't look like a big risk to the lender. That's why I said this is more than just what's the magic credit card. Everybody is thinking that. Well, Lorelia, you just tell me the magic funding credit card that I need to get to be able to put these opportunities together. They don't exist. I'm not gonna lead people on to believe that there's a magic credit card, because it doesn't exist. So going back to what I said, purchase price $28,000, ARV after repair value. The house in its current state of what the client purchased it for was 28. But the client is going to update the home. And so when the home gets updated, it will be worth $85,000. That's right. It will be worth $85,000. So with a purchase price of 28, once it's in its best condition, it'll be worth 85,000. Now the client is going to put some work into it. And so this particular one does have tenants, and there is a tenant that is currently in place who is paying rents in this particular home. So imagine that you purchase a home under the ARV. House needs some work with it on it. So client is going to put some work in it, even with the tenant in place. Plus, there is rental revenue coming in. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer type of deal. No-brainer type of deal. I mean, clearly the numbers work. So let's kind of talk about cash flow for a second, because so many people say, and remember I said, I'm very transparent. Is business credit, is business funding the only way to do deals? No, but it's just a way that that I teach. And with that being said, there's no mortgage. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to get back to cash flow, but I am going to touch on that. This particular deal allowed the client to secure real estate. So what happens? You have secure real estate. You are putting generational wealth in place for not only yourself, but for those who, what you will leave behind. So this particular client does have children. So you are creating generational wealth. On top of that, there's no debt. There's no mortgage debt. So client has no mortgage debt. There's no 30 year, ball and chain on this particular property. So there's no ball and chain. On top of that, now, is there debt with the unsecured? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, this, but keep in mind, it's not a 30-year debt, and this is a free and clear property. So you already have become your own bank. Do you hear me? You've leveraged other people's money that put you in position to be your own bank. I know, I get it. This is over the heads of some people. I get it. Because that's why I said 2022, I'm only talking big conversations. Like, gone are the days if you think I'm just going, just talk about how you can get some smash and grab money. There's 1,000 people online talking about that. We're talking big, higher level conversations, bigger level conversations. So understand what is happening here for those who are listening and watching. You've leveraged other people's money that put you in a position that increased your net worth, because now you are an investor. You have a property free and clear. Now it allows you to now become your own bank, whereas you can literally have your own type of money in place, leveraging someone's money. And then on top of that, you have cash flow. So now you've lowered your tax liability, because just being a real estate investor right from the blip, you're an investor. So you get a lot of write-offs that allows you to lower your tax liability, increase net worth, tax write-offs that were not in place before, prior to this person being an investor. Along with that, because of course you have the depreciation and all the other stuff, instant cash flow, because there's going to be a tenant in place. Of the two properties, let me be transparent. One had a tenant, the other one has a tenant has to be put in there. So you already have cash flow. So the reason why I'm a big advocate of leveraging business funding to invest in real estate, and how you can avoid being behind the 8 ball. One is because you don't have a mortgage. So you literally have purchased a property free and clear. And then 2, you are going to use some of the rental income to offset that business funding. And there's a whole nother gangster strategy that I only really teach clients that I work with personally, that we can totally wipe that out. That unsecured funding that you've leveraged. And now you have a free and clear property, which will allow you to become your own bank. That's way beyond this free webinar. That's stuff that I keep only for my one-on-one, my clients that I work with. So let's go to the next slide. Funding sources. Just so if you're wondering, well, what's the money looking like, Lorelia? What is the money looking like? Unsecured lines of credit. Remember, this is unsecured, not secured against anything, because client is not it's not a real estate investor, so they were not leveraging any type of real estate from before. And so they literally was able to do this by me assisting them to put a business entity in place that allowed them to look fundable to the lending sources that would lend to them the money. And so 91,000 in unsecured lines of credit, a term loan of 35,000. And that allowed the client to get a maximum amount of funding of 126,000. So I just want you to think for a second. How could you having that access to funding, change the direction of your business, your real estate business? Because the reason why I said imagine um, what six figures in funding can do is because most people are really, and this is no shade, I'm not being funny, but most people just trying to get 15 or 20,000 from Navy Federal. Like, I know I shouldn't go there, but I'm gonna call it what it is. That's why I tell people I'm not playing in that sandbox. Like, by all means, you trying to get your 25K from Navy Federal, by all means, do what you have to do. There's a ton of people out there sharing with you. But this, my friend, this type of funding that's put together to help you, to put you in position that can change the trajectory of not only your life but your family's life. And this is just a starting point, because I've already said that just you having a free and clear property already allows you to become the bank. Do the people in the back hear me? So, this is the case study that that I wanted to share with you all tonight, to really give a really deep dive into what what happened. So now you see how it's possible to purchase two properties. So this is not no 20K from Navy Federal, 15K from Chase. That's not that. This is not that. So, um, just so people know, that's not what we are doing here. So I know I've said a lot, and it's so much more that I could say. But if people have any questions, um, and I know I have some people on Zoom, and I'm streaming from a few social media platforms. So I apologize if I can't get to those questions. But this is just a tip of the iceberg of some of the things that is possible to do with business funding and business credit. So if anybody, has any questions, I will take them. So this is just to give you a peek behind the curtain, just so you can get an idea of what it is that you can do. Okay. All right. Nielsen McDonald raised a hand. Okay. So if you could put it in the chat, Nielsen, or in the Q&A, if you want to put it in the Q&A. Because I'm trying to figure out. All right, Nielsen, if you want to ask a question, I think I brought you out. Nielsen McDonald. And you're muted, Nielsen, if you want to ask a question. Whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to talk, you can, or if you want to put it in the Q&A. Just so you know, you are muted, Nielsen. Okay, you're unmuted now, so you can ask your question. Ask the question, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to So once again, Nelson, if you want to put it in the live Q&A, you can do that. Because you are unmuted. So I am back. Nielsen, if you want, like I said, you can put it in the Q&A if you have a question. So tonight I just shared with you one of the deals that a client of mine was able to secure. So maximum amount of funding over 100K it's used that to purchase 2 properties, going to be rehabbing one, has tenants in one of them, going to place tenants in the other one. So if this is something that you would like help with, if you see your 2022, why is there feedback? If you see your 2022 with, I keep getting feedback. With you being able to get business funding, if you want to get access to business funding and that is something that you want to do, what I'm going to be offering people Saturday, January 29th. Let me just share my screen again. January 29th from 9 to 2 p.m. If you go to www.neverloseadealevents.com, there I am going to be doing more of a deeper dive of what I talked about tonight. So if you enjoyed what you heard, if you want to really get a framework of how you can take what I've shared with you, because my goal tonight was for this to be a 1-hour webinar. So Saturday, January 29th from 9 to 2 p.m., I will be helping individuals put a framework together for themselves so they could be able to do what I did for my client and for them to be able to get access to funding. So like I said, it's a 5-hour workshop. If you go to www.neverloseadealevents.com, ticket price is pretty much free. It's $49, as you can see right here, $49. That allows you to get access to the webinar where we'll do a deeper dive. I'll really go more in depth with some of the things that we talked about tonight. You can, once again, bring your deals. We want to talk about how you can get some of your deals funded. We'll be doing that as well. So once again, this is the website. I'm going to just briefly go through it. This is the top of it, www.neverloseadealevents.com from 9 to 2. So like I said, January the 29th from 9 to 2, we do 5 hours where I will be giving you the framework same framework that I basically take my clients through, which is a step-by-step process. So you can leave the workshop having a plan in place so you can leverage that amount of funding, six figures in funding for yourself as well. So www.neverloseadealevents.com. Ticket price is $49, pretty much free. And look forward to, changing some lives, helping some more people. Do the same thing with what it is that I've been able to help my clients with, just so you know, in 2021, over 500K in business credit and business funding, I was able to help clients get access to. So wait, I think I see the question. All right, so Nielsen finally got the question going. Does property need to be purchased? Has to be free and clear. Okay, well, Nielsen, so the property, not sure what the previous owner had. This particular deal, the client purchased it using the funding, and with purchasing it with the funding allowed them to own it free and clear, because this is something that I really didn't go into this webinar. And the reason why business funding or business credit is a great match with real estate, because depending on the price point, especially when you are in parts of the country where the purchase prices are under 50,000, many mortgage companies do not lend on so little, or really on small mortgages like that. The reason why is because lenders are in the business of making money. So they're not going to make a lot of money holding a mortgage of just 50K for 30 years. So that's why business funding or business credit is a great source for people who live in those parts of the country where 100K, like I could tell you right here in my market in the Northeast, there's nobody writing mortgages under 100K. They're just not, So why? Because the property values are so much higher. So once again, that's why business credit, business funding is a great match. So to answer your question, it's just that with the amount of funding, we're talking over six figures. I ran and I showed the numbers. What was it, 126K that the client was able to get access to? The purchase price of the property was 28. Why not purchase it and have it free and clear? Like, why would you be looking for a mortgage? Like, I don't understand that. So I hope that did answer your question. About it being free and clear. So it's just, once again, you got access to that money. Why not? Like, why would you be looking for a mortgage? And once again, it would be hard to find a mortgage at that price point. So, yep. So that is that. Once again, join me January 29th. And we will be going more into what I discussed with you today, doing more of a deeper dive of what I talked about tonight, to get you in position. Because understand, we're already looking at the calendar, 2 weeks into the new year. Why not, by the first quarter, which ends in March 31st, you literally have a plan and a strategy to have in place that it will allow you to get the funding that you're looking to get access to, whether it is buy and holds, fix or flips. The type of funding doesn't really matter. The type of real estate property doesn't really matter. I have clients who are into mobile homes, who are into duplexes, purchasing duplexes, tax liens. It's just the ability to have access to the funding. So once again, www.neverloseadealevents.com. Like I said, doing more of a deeper dive. What we talked about tonight, 5 hours. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday, January 29th. And I hope this has been helpful. I'm glad that I have been able to share that with you, because I know a lot of people have been asking the question, how, what are the numbers? And I had the ability to share them with you tonight. So once again, this is Lorelia, and I am signing off.